All right, so I'm going to quickly run through the concepts of urbanization so that you can finish your or work on your questions for your homework. The big thing you need to take away from you about urbanization is the impact of immigration, technology, and political machines, and I'll explain what that means here in a moment. So if you look at this picture right here, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time analyzing the picture simply because I'm trying to keep this in under 10 minutes. But you can see the classic picture of what the Gilded Age urban environment was. You can see that it's very crowded. There's lots of people. There's horses, all this kind of stuff, all piled in, people selling food, all in the same place. And that's very much what we mean when we talk about urbanization. So one of the things I want you to consider is people moving from the country to the city. On Friday, we looked at the problems that farmers had economically. So what will happen is that many Americans from the rural areas, those are areas out in the country, out in the Great Plains, they're going to be attracted to the city by the same job opportunities that are attracting immigrants, okay? They're going to be attracted by wages, by conveniences, and all of that kind of thing. And this is all going to happen at the same time that it's becoming incredibly difficult for farmers to make ends meet. And so the farmers are going to be struggling to keep their farms going and that sort of thing. And so this is going to be another factor in attracting even more people into the cities. So it's not just going to be about the immigrants. It's also about people within the United States. Technology plays a huge role in making cities convenient, whether you're talking electric streetcars, electric lights, running water, plumbing, entertainment factors. All of that technology makes city living far easier than it ever has been before. Now, of course, we have wage issues, unemployment, those working conditions. Those are another factor as well. But if you just look at the role of technology within the cities, it does tend to improve the standard of living for at least many of the people, especially if you're talking about people in certain social classes, people in the middle class or the upper class. Now, you can make the case that those in the poor classes that are struggling to just survive, maybe it's not making their life better, but maybe it is, because you are going to start to have the emergence of indoor plumbing and that kind of thing. And that is definitely an improvement for everybody. So keep those ideas in mind. And I also have the key questions you'll be thinking of, which you can read over. I want to point out that the urban environment, and here's another picture of what we would call skyscrapers. You're going to see that the steel, we've already looked at that with the innovation. Steel allows buildings to go up, not out. And you're going to have improved city transit. Elevators, all of these things make this possible. But at the same time that you have skyscrapers and technology creating conveniences, you also have crime. So many people in such a small space is going to ultimately lead to an increase in crime. And disease, typhoid, cholera, until they really fix kind of the public sanitation factors, which is going to vary depending on what year you're talking about. Germs, disease are a big thing. Pollution from the factories, fire hazards, especially prior to some of the building code changes and that sort of thing. And it's all because you have so many people crowded in together. Social classes, the obvious one is going to be the wealthy. These are the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Vanderbilts, the Goulds. These are the ones that are the wealthiest of the wealthy. And you can see I have a couple of pictures here about what the inside of a home looked like, what the outside of the home looked like. These are people that we would all have wanted to be. Because they lived a pretty comfortable life. But they don't have to deal with the urban problems. They are actually pretty insulated from the urban problems. The middle class, however, because they have to work, they deal on some level with the city, with the problems, with the factories, with the workers, because of their role as professionals. And they're really seen as like support staff. They're the wealthy sit in their big fancy houses and make money. They don't actually have to work. The middle class professionals are the ones that keep the businesses going and functioning. And as a result, they're better educated. They have encouraged more education. They have better wages. And this is the social class that's going to grow the most, right? We've always had the poor. The middle class, though, is going to grow exponentially because of the Gilded Age and because of business, because there's such a need for that kind of mid-level management going on. And this is a classic advertisement that depicts kind of the middle class. And hopefully, maybe if we have time in class, I'll pull this up and we can kind of analyze this picture together. There's a lot of interesting things going on there. The working class, this is the majority of your city dwellers. They live in those tenement buildings that we've talked about already. They don't make very much money. Very limited education, and they're the ones who suffer from the urban problems. And so the big question here is, what do we do with this working poor? What do we do with those that become unemployed and homeless and that kind of thing? And if you look at this picture right here, you see a number of different problems happening. So what I think I'm going to do, because I'm kind of coming to the end, I'm down to like 4 minutes, and I'm not sure that I'm going to have time to be able to finish the politics, the political machines. So I think I'm going to stop this, and then you can watch this part, look at the give you the basics about the social classes, and then I'll have a separate one that has to do with the politics.